Yara, I got to read your chapter in this book, Born to Risk, that Emilio created with, I don't know how many people are in there, but there's a lot, right? And so your journey intrigued me to reach out to you and several other people as well. But I'm glad we got to connect and here we are today. And now you can share what you shared in there and maybe even more on this podcast with others. And I'll let you share your journey and, the listeners can hear all that. But I just want you to start off with who's Yara today? What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, thank you first and foremost. First of all, thank you for inviting me to your space. Um, Yara today is someone who she never imagined she will be. From that little girl growing up in Puerto Rico and then moving to New York, and be there for almost all of her life. Today, I have my own business. I am a speaker who never even crossed my mind because I used to be all frightened speaking in front of people. I'm an author, a TV host. That's the most recent one.
Cool.
Financial consultant and personal financial coach, and working in a lot of projects right now. Trying to always continue to build my business and be innovative with with technology. You have to be right, and always trying to develop myself to be able to continue providing the best services to my clients and to my audience who listens to me through my show and when I speak. And always, sharing my story to see if it's only one person who needs to hear, then I did my job.
Yeah. Is that what excites you the most when you share your story?
Yes, because so my story is that I was in a toxic relationship with a narcissist for 15 years. That's part of my story, not all
Mhm.
of it, but part of my story. And at the beginning, of course, as always, it's all good and honeymoony and all of that. But within the first year or to a year and a half, I was kind of already seeing red flags. But then I would dismiss it because he will notice, I work on that condition in me and detour my focus so I wouldn't see or realize what's actually happening. And when I share my story, it's just for those women who are either still in the relationship with a narcissist or have come out of it, right? And some of my when I share my stories and things like that, I talk about what I've gone through. I also talk about in some of my boot camps and stuff like that, how you can plan an exit plan, right? Because sometimes, when you're in so much fear, you're just thinking of surviving, right? And nothing else. So not too long ago, I did a workshop in collaboration with a friend of mine, and we spoke about these things. How can you prep mentally and financially, so that you can exit? Because a lot of them are so scared. A lot of them have no money, right? And that's why they get stuck. So, I've been there, done that, right? The only thing is that saves me is that since I've been in the money management for so long, I was not completely broke to say it like that. But yeah, I could have more money because I was, supporting him and everything. But it was more also the emotional abuse, psychological abuse.
Hmm.
And I remember feeling completely drained and numbed and feeling nothing. Like I even thought like, oh my God, am I gonna feel love again? Am I gonna feel loved again? Because I was literally numbed, right? So I replayed scenarios in my head over and over, thinking about things he said, things he did, getting angry at myself, getting angry at the world, you know, why didn't speak up, defend myself. And of course, I'm thinking all of this now because I'm out in hindsight, right? But when you're in it, you don't see that. and you're in so much fear that you just shut down, you know?
Yeah. So what would you say were the signs that you saw, your partner being a narcissist?
Well, first, I didn't even know what that word meant.
Right. Yeah, no, now it's like mainstream, but we're still like, what is it? I still don't get
Yeah,
it, right?
yeah. So it's that control manipulation. They try to isolate you. Um, they try to take control of everything, even the finances, right? Because what they try to do is to cripple you in a way that you won't be able to leave them. That's why they do what they do, and they condition you. That's when you start like your self-esteem, goes down the drain. You start second guessing yourself. Um, you doubt yourself, right? In my case, I had to even, in group settings, I had to pretty much look at him before I even spoke, especially with someone that will approach me that he didn't like, right? And sometimes I would act all weird because I was not only protecting me, I was also protecting whoever came to me to talk because he was like crazy. I
Yeah.
didn't want to just come at the person, So um at first, everything is good and so lovey-lovey, a whole lot of affection, but then it turns into, little by little, it's in their way in, they try for you to leave your job, um, not to interact with any friends. Again, they try to cripple you so that you where have nowhere to go, no one to go to, and no one
Mm.
that can potentially open your eyes as to what they're doing. So they continue conditioning you so that you can just be their puppet, to say it like that.
Yeah, but you never thought that the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Did you feel
No,
like did you feel like it
um,
was love and stuff and then you start to see signs because people were kind of like
at the
telling you?
beginning, yes.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. He's just trying to like, he's so cute being jealous of me. But then when he started isolating me, you know, telling me that I couldn't go nowhere, even with my family, telling me that um, to leave my job, to leave my apartment, to put him in my bank account.
Mm.
He was completely trying to take over my life in every way, shape, or form that he could, and not to have the full control of me. Um, and those are some of the red flags, right? When they
Yeah.
try to isolate you, to take control, for ask you to leave your job, or have any financial um finances coming in, because they want to control it. They try to stop you from any progress in life. When I went back to college, he got really upset because I went back to college, and he would just show up at my school just like that and just watch me.
Mm.
And it's really scary when you're out there. I used to come out of my job or school or wherever I was coming, I just look around before I step out to see if he was standing there watching or waiting for me, especially when I left him. I was, taking a different route every time I went home because he didn't know where we lived, me and my son, to make sure he wasn't following me. It's just a very unhealthy situation to be in, scary, for sure.
Yeah, it is. And it's all still like I listen to a bunch of people and I try to take it all in because sometimes we are blindsided in a sense, right? Because we feel like it's love and that okay, they're trying to help me in the right way is how we can think of it. But like you said, manipulating and stuff. Do you think if you guys sat down and spoke about, hey, you're not going to school for these reasons, and you actually had a conversation, do you think that would be like okay? And then you're talking out, or it's basically he's just telling you no, and that was the narcissist part of him.
It could be both.
Hmm.
There were times that me, in my ignorance, trying to convince him or talk to him, but there's no way in into their minds. It is what they want, and if you if you mess up with their ego on their plans, it's a wrap, right? Um, but me talking to him about me going to school or something like that, he would have just tried to convince me not to do it,
Mhm.
right? Or he will make me think, he will put in a way that I wouldn't see it that way of him not wanting me to go. Um, even when in the mornings going to work, he will provoke a fight or something like that to make me get to my job late because he wanted me to not work. Now, he didn't want me to work. He wanted me to just quit, and I wouldn't quit my job. So he would just do things over and over to just jeopardize whatever it was I was doing, you know. Um, but sitting with them, it would either be, in my case, it would either be him telling me straight up, no, don't do that, or he would just try to make me see, him manipulating me, but not see it that way,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, and now you're out of it, so you can kind of look back and see all the red flags, right? Everything, and it's kind of weird how you piece it all together after the fact of something already being done. Um, how did you begin that process? Like, what was the turning point for you to just say, "I'm out, I'm doing what I got to do, and get out of here"?
Yeah. So I was getting anxiety attacks, and my son was frightened of his dad. So for me, when I started getting those anxiety attacks, because I never had one in my life ever, I was like, I need to do something because I can't. I need to take care of myself for me and my son, right? I was really scared that something will happen to me and then my son will have to stay with him or something like that because I know for a fact that he will not let my son stay with nobody from my family,
Mm.
right? Um, so that was the turning point. So thankfully, I never left my apartment. I still have my apartment. So it was me kicking him out, which it was a huge mission. He didn't want to leave. um, but finally he left. But then he would continue showing up and knocking at the door, and talking through the door, and then the neighbors looking and hearing. So like it was really embarrassing too. So I ended up just moving upstate New York. I just packed and and I left. I didn't he didn't know where we lived. If he wanted to see my son, it was in the city and a public, you know, place or something like that. So that's when I left, and that's when I started also, you know, looking behind my back to see who would be there following me. He used to call me nonstop and text me sometimes 20, 30, 50 times in one day and threatening me. He will send people to call me, his friends. Those phone calls like, I know where you live, I know where your son goes to school, and things like that. He would just do things like that. But to answer your question, yes, when I started getting those anxiety attacks, that's when I was like, that was like the turning point. Like, I need to just really just go, and get away.
Yeah. What was it that caused your son to be scared of him?
Because his dad wouldn't care, when he wanted to say something or fight, he would just do it even in front of him. And the thing is that it never got physical, but he will like pinch me against the wall with his body, like get in front of me and just get on my face and scream at me, right? And I would just freeze. So my son would see that. So he would see that and he was just scared because there were a few times that he did it to my son as well. Maybe not as much as, but for a 2 or 3 year old, that's you know, awful, very scary. Um, and I was even scared to leave him alone with his dad. I was super scared to do that. So things that he witnessed, he will be scared of his dad. And sometimes he will tell me like that he didn't want to be alone with his dad. Like he would just tell me. So if a kid tells you that, it's for something because of something, right? It's just not, they're not gonna say just because.
Yeah, there's that feeling inside of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. And so you moved to New York. What did everything start fading away and stuff from there after a while?
Um, when I moved to New York, I was a teenager from Puerto Rico. Um, and then when I met, my ex, that's when my life took a turn. Um, and then I moved upstate, and from upstate, because I lived in New York pretty much all my life.
Hmm.
And then after that, that's when I decided to leave New York altogether. And I went and I moved here to South Carolina. There was just time to go. I prayed about it, and it was just time to grow and just press that reset button and just start fresh, in another state completely, and here I am. It was very scary, very challenging, emotionally because I didn't know no one here. I leaving behind all I knew, New York, my whole life, my family, my dad, one of my brothers, my friends, and to just come here and just start over.
Okay. And so
But
let's talk about that. Yeah, so you prayed on it. What happened? What was the experience there? What did you hear or see? Did you anything like that come up?
so yes, so people always ask, even myself sometimes, like, how do you know? Like, how do you know, huh? Right? So it's various things, right? God either confirm your prayer through could be through the TV of talking to someone that have no idea. There's no way that the person will ever know what you're praying about, and you get that confirmation. In my case was that aside from when you, in my case, I'm gonna talk for me. So when I pray and I feel that peace, like okay, right? Like it's okay, then it's like okay, it's giving peace about it. Because if you pray for something and you're asking for something, you feel scared, you feel something is not right, so then you shouldn't continue. So for me, I was feeling that peace about it, like yes, that I should move. There was no roadblocks about it whatsoever. Talking to people, I said one time, it's funny because I was watching this service from a church online, and the pastor said, so even if you have to move to another state, I was like, okay, I got it, okay, got it, I get it, I get it. He said it just like that. I was like, oh my God. So anyway, so I came here during the summer that year, and within a week I was able to find, an apartment. All I need is storage, raise for my son within a week, when sometimes it takes months to other people, right? And it was just everything so smooth that even sometimes when I think about it, it's like, oh my God, like it was really meant to be. Within a year, I got my house. When I spent years and a year trying to buy a home, and here in less than a year, I got a home.
Mm.
So it's just things the way it just happened, or like definitely. And then that feeling that there's something here for me. That's like an assignment here in South Carolina for me. I still don't know what it is, to be honest. But it's just that feeling. And every time I pray, it's like there's something feeling alone right now because I still have no like friends like that or anything, you know. But that gives me peace because I know, I still have that feeling like there's something here for me. So let's see what it is.
Right. And so did you find that?
No, not yet, not
Not yet.
yet.
You're still searching for that. You don't know what it is, but you're still there. But let's look at it. I mean, like you have this business and you said you're busy, you're growing all this and doing all this stuff. Like does that not feel like the reason?
It feels like it's part of it.
Okay.
It feels like it's part of it. Because I'm telling you, all those years living in New York, and I didn't get to have what I have of being able to have here in no time, to say it like that, right? Yes, I have my network have grown, you know, my business, a lot of connections, like I said before, I'm a speaker, I'm an author, I have my TV show, I'm having collaboration with big organizations and stuff like that. So I know that's leading to whatever it is, you know, and I feel it like that, and that's the my focus, you know. Um, Now with my TV show talking about the struggles the single moms go through, you know, I'm sharing my story there as well, and the life as a single mom and all of that is part of helping people, and I feel like that's part of it, right? I still feel like it's not quite the purpose, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think you're still on a slow build to what you're meant to do, right? Is
Right.
that that's what it feels like?
It feels like that, yes.
Yeah. And how long have you been down there then?
A little over 3 years.
Okay. So it's not like it's been 10 years and you're like still, where is it, right?
Yeah.
yeah. So and it's all in God's timing, right? So anything could happen at the right time. You said you heard move to another state, and so there you did, and now you're 3 years in, you have a business and everything's flourishing. Is the disconnect and communication off from your ex then?
He passed
Oh, I'm sorry.
back in 2018. Um, and that was like another layer to what I was going through already emotionally.
Mhm.
Um, because regardless of what happened, I didn't wish him to die.
Right.
Like, you know, so that was part of the whole healing process, part of my healing process, because I mourned his death, you know, because I was already going through the separation and the healing process and the emotional, emotionally, physically, psychologically, and then he passed, and it was sudden. It's not that was expected, and it was just unexpected. So that was part of my healing process. So yeah, he passed, and it was um uh, surprising. It was a shock, like I said. I didn't wish him that, but it happened, and I don't even know if sometimes I think that if he would still be alive, I don't know if I'll be here. And when I say that, I mean in South Carolina.
Hmm.
Because I don't know he would have allowed me to take my son out of the state. Um,
Understood. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
so I think of that, again, I obviously I do not wish he would have died, but at the same time, it's like, is that part of the plan?
Right.
You
You don't
know,
know. Yeah,
I don't know. I
you
don't
don't
know.
know. Yeah. So I mean, it takes a lot. So I mean, like what you shared a few little examples of some struggles as a single mom, but what are maybe the top three that you can think off the top of your head that you're experiencing, listening to others, and if it was something that you had to go through as well. But what are the top three?
The top three, and not necessarily in this order, but financial, because there's no second check. You have to work with what you got. Um, and in my case, I have a boy, a teenage boy. So there are things that I'm a woman, right? I could have an idea of certain things that men go through. And growing up with brothers, I'm the only girl out of five. Yeah, four brothers.
Gotta think about it. Oh
I
boy.
have to think about it. Four brothers and me, I'm the youngest, the only girl. So like I saw a lot of things with my brothers, and I could have an idea, but I'm not a man. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Obviously, I'm not. So there are things that he may need from a man, and it's a challenge, right? Thankfully, I've been, and I like to think that I have given him that um trust to, to talk to me and be open, because we have had conversations that sometimes like, oh my God, he's really talking to me about that, right? But still, that male figure is needed, right? Um, Another thing is feeling lonely, because sometimes you want that, and it doesn't have to be intimate, yes and no. But in my case, like I don't have no friends. I'm always by myself. The friends that I have, they live out of state, so we usually in Zoom or FaceTime or something like that. I wish I could have someone that I can just pick up and go, oh, let's just do this and just let's go like that. So just feeling lonely, that
Yeah.
that's one of the things.
So you can speak for women. Does that feel like it's a common thing that you lose your friends like that?
Not really. No, because I have friends in New York. It's just that could be different things. It could be that, that sometimes you outgrow people. That's one of the things. Um, in my case, I've been focusing so much on my business and raising my son that it's just have no time for nothing else.
Hmm.
Um, when I feel that someone is trying to hold me back, I have no problem saying bye bye, right? And that's always been me. Um, so me talking for me, I'm in a point in my life that if you are not adding to my life, why you're here? And I'm not
Yeah.
trying to say in a wrong way or think that I'm all that, right? But it's just reality. I'm in a point in my life that I'm focused, building my business, growing personally and professionally, and as a woman, because I've been really working on myself mentally, emotionally, all of that. Raising my son, so I don't have time for nonsense. So I have met people, female girlfriends, that we've gone out, but then I feel a little weird and like an outcast or like something is off. I ignore my gut once. I'm not gonna do it twice.
Gotcha.
So it just depends.
What kind of value would you say you're looking for?
In a
Like
man,
what, huh?
in a man.
Well, wherever you want to take it, but you said that you wanted somebody to provide, some kind of value to your life. Otherwise, it's not a fit. So like, what would that be?
Yeah. First of all, no judgments, you know, like someone that you could be you and be vulnerable and transparent and not have no judgments, right? Um, Someone that uplifts you, someone that believes in God, someone that that you can call at any time, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, like 3 o'clock in the morning, they're gonna just be there for you. And I'm saying these things because I am that kind of friend, and of course you cannot expect for everyone to be like you, but at least somewhat like you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
um, and someone that is just real, you know, with integrity. And I'm saying that not only in a relationship with a man, but also like friends, girlfriends, you know. I'm a big believer of um what people bring in your space, right? That's why I'm very picky as to who I let in my house. Because people carry stuff, and I believe in that.
The energy. Yeah.
The energy. So I'm really receptive of that. And if I'm not feeling your energy, that's at an automatic, like, I'm not gonna be nasty, of course not, but it's you there, I'm here. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
I believe in that as well. And with the woman that I have met here, I have felt not a good energy. So I still talk to them, but it's like an acquaintance kind of, And at first, yeah, we hanged and whatever because I was getting to know. But there was a moment I was started feeling and seeing things like something is kind of off, and then feeling the energy like I think I need to kind of like back up a little bit. So it's just having that discernment.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm curious more about what your thoughts are and how other single moms are thinking. For the simple fact, I'm just the opposite on your side, right? I'm just a male doing the same thing. I don't have the other friends that you can call them that I just get up and go hang out. I still work a full-time job. I come here and at home, and this is what I'm doing. And my dog's just chilling out in the air conditioning, waiting for me to get done, right? But yeah, I'm focused on growing the podcast, growing the hub I have, everything I have going for me. That I agree. Like you don't want the bad energy coming in. And so you go to these different entrepreneur groups or network groups, whatever you're going to, and there's a different vibe energy with some of the
Hmm.
people there. So that they're the kind of the ones that you probably want to talk to a little bit more and mingle with and maybe not hang out,
Hmm.
but there's something there where you're on the same level in a sense. Yeah, and that's why I was asking, like, because you give me a different perspective from you as a single mom, right? And you know, us as single guys, you hear all the time is like you said it, for example, your son needs a man in his life, for things, right? And hopefully he's got somebody he can talk to, maybe or whatever, just for a few things, because we are different. We are
Right.
different, right? You want to nurture and take care of your son, but like the man's gonna be like, no, get out there and do it, like what I mean, like get up and go.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so there's a reason for each sex to be yeah, available, right? And male, female, and to have that energy and the resources available to them. Um, I also, and you don't have you say whatever you want on this, but I also get this too, like where if they're single moms, they're more in their masculine because you are protective, the provider, you're doing everything. Do you feel like you shut off from being, feminine in your feminine state, and that's why you kind of are distant?
Oh my God, you asking me that question. It's funny that you bring that up because I have my life spiritual coach,
Okay.
and I was talking to her the other day about that. I said to her, listen, I am so self-conscious and so aware of that sometimes I don't even feel that feminine. I have a strong character as it is, like always. I grew up with guys. Most of my family are men. I have a lot of nephews. I'm always surrounded by guys. So my childhood was not dollhouses and dresses. My childhood was wrestling, boxing, and throwing myself from the bunk bed.
Mm.
That was my childhood, right? But to answer your question, yes, I definitely have felt like my masculine side is stronger than the feminine because I'm used to doing everything for many, many, many years. And I'm so self-conscious about it that sometimes I struggle with that in a way, and I pray about it, and as I am prepping for my person, you know, I also pray like, oh my God, please help me to be able to step back and allow him to be the man and not always come like and have the control because I'm used to that. I want to be able to be vulnerable, and open and let him be the man, you know, and we're working on that. Me and my life coach, we're working with, it's just making me do homework and stuff about it. But but it's funny that you brought it up because I have felt like that for a very long time, you know, and sometimes and I've been really vulnerable here. Sometimes I don't even feel sexy
Yeah.
because, you know, if I have to, and I've done it, if I have to cut a tree, I go down, cut a tree. Like if I have to just hammer something, I just go and hammer, you know, and it's just, but I have to do it. Like I have to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But on the other side, it's like too self-conscious about it, you know, and it's a struggle, you know. Sometimes I
It
like,
is, right?
yeah.
So I mean, like in your sense, if you're more masculine, you would connect with a more of a feminine guy. Even that's probably not what you're after, right? Seriously, like
But it's true, it's
because
true.
it's about because if it's a masculine man and you, right, you're gonna butt heads, and then that's why you have the problems.
Hmm.
So you kind of have to. Well, I'm not a relationship coach or anything, but you have to kind of like get in that flow, right? That flow state of like just releasing and let everything go for a little bit. Um, when I went through learning about how to navigate what was going on at the house prior to the word divorce mentioned to me, it's basically my coach was basically telling me like have to get it the woman would have to get it out of their head and into their heart, and same with the man, like, and be here, not up here thinking everything all the time. That's the problem. And I truly believe that. And so like you again, you are up here thinking all that, right? Again, providing, doing all this stuff. Um, and I see this and I hear this and I believe this too, that you can do anything you want by yourself, but a real man is gonna show you that you don't have to, right? And so that's when you surrender, be vulnerable, and release, and just be you, right? And
Yeah.
be free flowing. Uh, these are the things I think and believe. But yeah, I'm glad that you opened up and shared that, and that you're actually on a mission there to work your way out somehow. You still have your business, and maybe that person coming in would be like, hey, I got you. I'm right here next to you. I see what you're doing. Well, let's do this and maybe change a few things and help you along the way. And then that's where you'll probably be more free flowing and
Hmm.
accept something like that. Yeah, yeah, that was my like question, because come along some mothers, and you're just like, as a man, like that's just too much work. Like I'm not here to demasculate you in a way, right? Like like
Hmm.
put your put your guard down. I'm not. It's gonna take time, especially if
Yeah,
you've been building up for so long.
yeah,
So it takes time. But yeah, so I that's why I raised that question. So now you're working on that. You obviously are building your business, and I think what you're there in Carolina for is something big, and it sounds like you're on the edge there. I don't know what it is. I can feel it, especially if you're helping single moms. You're doing your financial stuff, and you got your son, wherever he is, but however old he is at the moment. But you're changing things. Like you changed your life completely by moving away and taking
yeah,
that big shot. And that is like something a lot of people don't want to even do, especially from their family. Like you left your family behind and just went on this, hey, something's telling me about going to Carolina, and you made that big, bold move. So I congratulate you. And here you are doing great things. You're doing wonderful. So Yara, how can somebody like reach out, connect with you, whether they're a single mom or need financial help or whatever it is you can help them?
yes, yes. So they can email me at info@bookkeepingcs.com. They can also find me in Facebook. And I'm here just as it shows in the screen, Yara Ortiz. And find me there. And just email me and message me whatever, if it's a business or nonprofit, they need financial management. I'm here. If it's a single mom that needs financial coaching and help with their money, I'm here as well.
Awesome. I have one question I ask everybody at the end. So, what are three key things you've learned and used along your journey?
Three key things. Definitely trust your gut. Don't do a scare.
Don't what?
Do a scare.
Do a scare? Can you elaborate on
Yeah.
that?
If you have a dream, you have a vision,
Hmm.
there's always gonna have that. You're always gonna have that fear and feel scared and doubt yourself. You're gonna tend to doubt yourself. Just go for it
Okay.
and do a scare.
Do a scare. Okay. That's
Yeah.
new for me, how you state it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And don't change for nobody. Always be you, no matter where you go, no matter how high you get, always be you.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, that's one of my values, like being authentic and just keep showing
Yeah.
up, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Yara, it's been amazing. I am very impressed with what you've done and where you're going. And again, I appreciate you coming on and sharing everything that you experienced.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're welcome.